leave the meeting. Nancy, I think we're good to go. All right, take those as okay. Good afternoon.
Sorry, go ahead.
Thanks. Before we start the meeting, I would like to read a land acknowledgement. The land on which we meet has been here from time immemorial. People have inhabited southern Ontario for about 10,000 years, and we acknowledge the neutral people, also called Attawandarun, Anishinaabe, and Haudenosaunee people, who lived here when settlers arrived and who share this land with us. May we together learn to care for and respect each other, our flora and fauna, and the land we inhabit together. I will remind the committee and members of the public that this meeting is being recorded and live streamed to the Township YouTube channel. Anyone who registered to participate in this meeting will be invited to speak in the order of the applications being heard. I will now do a roll call of the committee and staff for the benefit of the public watching this meeting. When I call your name, please wave at the camera and say here or present. I, Jeremy Karn, am present and chairing this meeting. The committee members, Linda Dixon.
Here.
Chris Fletcher.
Here.
Stephen Hartman.
Present.
Charles Ziedler.
Here.
And staff, Jeremy Vink, Manager of Planning.
Present.
Sherwin Maloney, Planner.
Here.
Nancy Thompson, Secretary Treasurer.
Present.
Erin Wetzel, Administrative Assistant, Building Department.
Here.
I will now provide an explanation of the procedures for this meeting. Each application will be read by Nancy, and she will ask each applicant to make a brief presentation not to exceed 5 minutes. The committee will be given an opportunity to question the applicant. Any other person who has registered with the recording secretary and is wishing to address an application either for or against will then be given an opportunity to speak. Please make sure you have turned on your microphone and video and identify yourself clearly for the recording secretary. After everyone has had an opportunity to speak, the committee will make a decision on the application. Once discussion on your application is complete, please mute your microphone and turn off the video. You are free to leave the meeting at this time or remain and listen to the balance of the applications. The applicants are advised that each application has a 20-day appeal period as required under the Planning Act. In accordance with Bill 23, appeals may only be submitted by the applicant, the municipality, certain public bodies, and the minister. The last day of appeal for the applications heard today is November 8th, 2023. At this time, I will ask if any members of the committee if they are declaring a pecuniary conflict of interest with any of the applications. Seeing none, Nancy, could you please read the first application?
Thanks, Jeremy. The first application this evening is minor variance A26-2023 for Alex and Victoria Bauman for the property at 2831 Lobsinger Line in Heidelberg. The property is zoned settlement residential and contains a single detached dwelling and a detached garage. The applicant is proposing to renovate the existing dwelling with the addition of a second-story new front porch and attached garage, and is requesting relief from the following for residential purposes. Section 8.3.1 to recognize the existing lot area of 1,022 square meters, whereas 1,390 square meters is required. Section 8.3.2 to recognize the existing lot width of 18.5 meters, whereas 30 meters is required. And section 4.1.4b to expand the legal non-conforming use of a single detached dwelling by 117%, whereas a maximum 25% expansion is permitted. And Mr. Bauman's here to speak to his application.
Hi, my name is Alex Bauman. I'm speaking on behalf of the application 2831 Lobsinger A26-2023. Yeah, it's pretty straightforward for the most part. We're just looking to do an addition with the garage attached to the building. And the plan is to have an updated septic installed at the time shortly thereafter the project is completed structurally. There were concerns from the septic designer or the septic installer regarding construction happening beforehand with the new septic system in there. So that's where the plan is going to happen after the main house construction is completed.
Perfect. Thanks. Any questions for the applicant? I don't see any. Nancy, anybody here to speak for or against the application?
No one for this application this evening.
Okay. Any other discussion from the committee? Seeing, oh, go ahead, Chris.
And just one question. When was this lot created? I mean, the house is probably, I don't know, 40, 50 years old right now, but does anybody know when this lot was created?
I don't know exactly. There was a plan that I had gotten from the township regarding a survey done at one point a long time ago. Documents that I found inside the house and some prior just updating kind of stuff were dated from the 1940 to 50s kind of thing.
Yeah.
So
Okay, the only reason why I'm asking is because of the lot size. I didn't know how the lot was created in the first place and why it was so small. Especially when the lot next door, going towards the west, is actually quite substantial and much bigger. So I was just inquiring about why the lot size was so tight.
yeah, and I have talked to my neighbor about that in the past. When they bought that property, they did buy 2 lots at the time. Which is why his is double what mine is existingly. So that was something at the time of purchase, that's what they did, but now
Right.
it seems one property. So, but ours is just the subset, and the one
Right.
on the east of the property is just the remainder of the balance.
Okay.
Thanks. Any other discussion or questions from the committee? Seeing none, how would, Charles? Sorry, I saw you unmute. I'm jumping the gun. How would you like to proceed?
I'll make a motion.
Sure.
I'll move that minor variance application A26/2023 concerning the subject property municipally addressed as 2831 Lob Singer Line, Heidelberg, be approved.
Any seconders? Chris, seconds. Any discussion on the motion? Seeing none, all those in favor? That's everyone. So no one is opposed. So the motion is passed. I want to remind the applicant that the last day of appeal expires on November 8th, 2023. Thank you for participating in the meeting, and please remember to mute your microphone and turn off your video. Excellent. Okay, Nancy, could you please read the next application?
Thanks, Jeremy. The next application is minor variance A27/2023 for Edgar and Lorraine Reist for the property at 6681 line 86. The property is zoned agricultural with site-specific provisions in section 26.1.377 and contains a single detached dwelling, a livestock operation, and an agricultural related use, which is the agricultural equipment sales and service and sale of maple syrup supplies. The applicant is requesting permission to locate the required fire reservoir for the agricultural related use outside of the area of operation and within the agricultural portion of the property. The fire reservoir is proposed to be located south of the area of operation on the west side of the driveway. Hugh Handy of GSP Group is here on behalf of the property owner, as well. The property owner is here on by phone. Hugh, if you'd like to review the application.
Yes, thanks, Nancy. My name is Hugh Handy, and I'm a land use planner and vice president with GSP Group. So thank you, Mr. Chair, members of the committee, for entertaining this application today. I'm here on behalf of Edgar and Lorraine Reist. And as Nancy mentioned, Edgar is also joining by phone should there be any question. We've reviewed the comments, and I mentioned to Mr. Vink when I got the comments that I was surprised by the denial, but then I was also pleasantly surprised by the second recommendation, which included an approval subject to the fire reservoir forming part of the area of operation and it not exceed 0.6 of a hectare. This application relates to a previous zoning bylaw amendment that defined an area of operation for the uses that Ms. Thompson had mentioned, agricultural sales and service and the maple syrup supply business. Through the site plan process, we also have been working closely with the township to identify different elements of the business that would be required as part of the bringing this zoning bylaw amendment and ultimately site plan through. Sherwin and Jeremy have, I guess, as I understand, both worked on these comments together. I think the only couple things that I would I would raise before is that the actual fire reservoir is on the east side of the driveway. I think on the notice it said west, but it's actually on the east side of the driveway, south of the operation. There has been some discussions, obviously, with township staff and fire. Edgar and I talked this morning, and based on the comments, it's not really a cost factor as much it is getting the fire tank further away from the building, that where the fire department can hook on. This fire tank will be located below ground. So in our initial application and the reasoning why it was outside is it really is not going to form part of the paved area or something else. Obviously there'll be the tanks that'll be located there. And so in looking at the second recommendation and looking at the area that would increase, we will be able to meet that 0.6. So I don't think that's an issue of a hectare. So with that, and sort of the clarification related to being more of a safety issue, I'd be happy to answer any questions and look for the support of the committee so that we can carry on with our site plan approval application. Thank you.
Thanks. Any questions from the committee for the applicant? Go ahead, Chris.
So this property has a long laneway that crosses over the Kissing Bridge Trail line. And then there's another kind of building that's on the other side of the Kissing Bridge Trail. So is that part of the same property, even though they may be separated, legally separated? And will this fire reservoir service that building as well?
Through you, Mr. Chair, to Ms. Fletcher, the properties are the same property. It is owned by the same property owner. It's
Right.
not the intention that the fire, I guess, when there is a fire supply on the property,
Yep.
it would be for more than just what's in the area
Right.
of operation. So it could be for the house, but primarily it is being put in for the business that was subject to the zoning bylaw amendment.
Okay, and so that building that's on the opposite side, on the north side of Kissing Bridge Trail, is not part of the area of operation in any way, shape, or form.
That's correct, my understanding.
Okay.
I see Mr. Reese is on the phone as well, but that's this area of operation is where the business is located.
Okay.
Thanks. Any other questions from the committee? See, yeah, go ahead, Linda.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I don't have a specific question for the applicant, but I do have a question clarification for planning staff. We related to, as Mr. Handy pointed out, the second recommendation. So I presume that there's been some discussions with fire, but I don't see any comments from fire on it. So overall, that's my biggest concern, is ensuring that wherever this reservoir is located, that it is located in an area that is satisfactory and suits the purposes of the fire department for hooking on. I mean, it's a big safety reason. So that's my main concern. And as noted, it's going to be below ground. They're not typically something that you see. So in terms of area of operation, while I understand that it's to serve the area of operation from a land use perspective and visual on the ground, you're not going to see it. So again, my biggest concern is fire. If somebody could clarify, I would really appreciate it. And a bit of clarification on the site plan and the recommendation, because I'm trying to figure out where that's coming from as well too. Thank you.
Jeremy, do you want to take that?
Yeah, I'll take this one for the moment. So yes, in terms of the location, the fire department is okay with the location. it was a discussion that happened between Edgar and the Elmira Fire Chief that led to our overall chief getting involved and talking about the location and placement of it. So yes, the location's good because they can pull in down the driveway and hook up, well, being staged away from the buildings initially. And that's just where they'll end up probably hooking up and putting any ponds if they needed to as for running tanker relays in that vicinity too. So yeah, the fire department had no concerns with the location that's proposed. So both Elmira Fire Chief and the overall fire chief, township fire chief, are satisfied with the location. Just in terms of the second condition, just we're trying to keep everything within the area of operation as per the site-specific zoning. So this fire reservoir is purely for the purposes of the industrial use, industrial commercial use that's on the property, not the farming and the house. So it's tied to the use that's permitted through the site-specific zoning. So we're trying to contain that all in the area of operation, which is the intent of the official plan and the zoning bylaw, that agricultural related uses all be confined within an area and not start straying into the agricultural land and taking any additional lands out of production that shouldn't be taken out of production.
Thanks, Jeremy. Yeah, Linda, go ahead.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Through you again, Jeremy. So are we is the intent of the minor variance application then in that recommendation to modify the area of operation?
Yes, it would ultimately modify the area of operation.
Okay.
So
All right.
they would modify it to reposition it slightly just so that the tank is within the area of operation. They'll give up a little bit of space somewhere else. So
Keeping the same size, but.
Yep. Yep.
Okay, thank you. Thank you. Okay, thank you.
Any other questions for the applicant, or I guess Nancy, anyone else speaking for or against this application?
No one for this application this evening.
And anything else from the committee? Charles, go ahead.
Sorry, through you, Mr. Chair, to Mr. Handy. Sorry, with what's been proposed to be approved. Sorry, did you have an issue with one but not the other of the two recommendations, or were you okay with both of them?
Through you, Mr. Chair, to Mr. Seidler. I'm okay with both of them because one, I guess, is being denied and the second one is being approved. As I said to Mr. Vink, it's a different way to get there. I think ultimately nothing really changes in terms of the what's going on the ground or under the ground. So I'm okay with that, assuming it's denied and approved. I guess that they're kind of tied together in my mind. And I don't know if from a procedural standpoint what that means, I guess, in terms of maybe I'll leave that for the committee.
I guess that's a question for Nancy. Can we, I guess depending on how the committee, can we go ahead with just the approval, or do we need to explicitly deny the first recommendation or the first application part?
I think you're really just, I mean, I think it's fine the way it's written. Essentially what you're doing is refusing what the applicant applied for and approving an alternative.
That makes sense.
So if it's read, it's read as it is, yeah, you're denying it as it was applied for and approving something alternative, which the applicant is satisfied with.
That makes sense. I guess before asking how the committee wants to proceed, is there any other discussion or questions from any of the committee members? Seeing none, how would the committee like to proceed? Linda?
Okay, I'm prepared to make a motion. But I'm a little concerned with, I understand what the intent of, but I'm not sure we need to deny and then approve. I'm quite happy just to approve the second part of that recommendation. Because initially that's what's going to move forward. But if it's really going to be an issue from a procedural point of view, which I'm not sure, I'll kind of modify it a little bit. So
Yeah, Linda, I think the way, as much as I said it that way, you're right. If you just approve the second part, you're essentially saying we're modifying it, right?
yeah,
Yeah,
Yeah.
without coming out and saying we're denying it, you're essentially putting a motion forward that is a modification to what was applied for. So that's fine.
All right. And on that, Mr. Chairman, if you're okay?
Yep.
Thank you. So I will make a motion that minor variance application A27-2023 concerning the property known municipally as 6681 line 86 to permit a fire reservoir in the location shown on the site plan be approved, subject to the two conditions set out, i.e. that the fire reservoir, that the area of operation be modified to include the fire reservoir area, and that the area of operation is approved and the site-specific zoning be modified to support the reservoir, provided the area of operation in total does not exceed maximum 0.6 hectares as noted in the site-specific zoning.
Thanks. Any seconders?
Second.
Charles. Charles has seconded that. Any discussion on the motion? Seeing none, I'll call for a vote and ask the committee for a show of hands. All those in favor? That's everyone, so no one is opposed. The motion is passed. I want to remind the applicant that the last day of appeal expires on November 8th, 2023. Thank you for participating in the meeting, and please remember to mute your microphone and turn off your video. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Chair, members, committee, staff. Good evening.
And Nancy, would you please read the next application?
Yeah, so the last application this evening is minor variance application A28-2023 for Skyline Retail Real Estate Holdings, Inc. for the property located at 315 Arthur Street, South Elmira. The property is zoned service commercial with site-specific provisions in section 26.1.249 and contains a commercial development. The applicant is requesting relief from section 20B.5.13 to reduce the required number of stacking parking spaces for a drive-through coffee shop from 12 to 10 spaces. The property is being developed with a multi-unit commercial building, which will include a Starbucks operation with a 10-vehicle drive-through lane. And David Galbraith from Up Consulting is here to speak to the application.
Thank you, Nancy. My name is Dave Galbraith. I'm a planner and the president of Up Consulting. I'm here today on behalf of Skyline Holdings, who have developed 315 Arthur Street in Elmira as a commercial plaza, most recently with a slab-on-grade building to accommodate a couple of commercial uses, as well as a Starbucks coffee shop and restaurant. The purpose of the application is to reduce the required number of stacking spaces from 12 to 10. The application did receive site plan approval earlier this year and a building permit to allow for the lot development. It was noted at the interior building permit application stage that there was a deficiency in terms of the number of stacking spaces that are provided on site, and there's not really an ability to add additional parking spaces at this point because the building is there. But having said that, we're confident that the number of parking spaces is adequate, the stacking spaces are adequate for the proposed use. And I've reviewed the staff report for the application and I agree with the recommendation to approve. Happy to answer any questions you might have.
Thanks. Any questions from the committee? Don't see anything from the committee. Nancy, anyone here to speak for or against? I don't see
No,
anyone.
Jeremy, no one here this evening for this application.
Thanks. Any other just general questions or discussion from the committee? I don't see anything, so I will ask, how would the committee like to proceed with this? Charles, go ahead.
I'll make a motion that minor variance application A28-2023, municipally known as 315 Arthur Street South in Elmira, requesting relief from section 20B.5.13 of the zoning bylaw to reduce the required number of stacking parking spaces for a drive-through coffee shop from 12 to 10 be approved.
Thanks. Any seconders?
I would second that.
Stephen, you tied, but we'll give it to Stephen.
I can play, so.
That's right. Any discussion on the motion? Seeing none, I'll call a vote. All those in favor? That's everyone, so no one is opposed. So the motion is passed. I want to remind the applicant that the last day of appeal expires on November 8th, 2023. Thank you for participating in the meeting, and please remember to mute your microphone and turn off your video. Thank you.
Thank you. Take care.
And just confirming that's the last application.
That is, yeah. So just have the minutes from September.
Okay, so have the committee members had an opportunity to review the minutes as circulated for the previous meeting held on September 11th, 2023? And if so, are there any changes required? Nope, I guess we just need the motion then.
Hearing none, I'll move that we accept the minutes of September, what was the date again?
September 11th, 2023.
September 11th, 2023, as written.
Seconder, Linda, and all those in favor? And that's everyone. So as actually, before I say that, is there anything else to discuss, Nancy?
No, just wanted to, no one had really commented back on the meeting dates. So at the next meeting, then what I'll do is bring those dates forward on a calendar for approval. Obviously, if anything pops up next year, then we'll address it as we go. Chris?
Excellent.
When you send it back out, can you send out the dates plus who's chairing?
Yes. Yes.
Just
So
so
you
that
know the
I
months.
keep, yeah, so I keep in mind what's coming up because my memory is short sometimes.
Yeah, because we have the
Yeah.
rotating chair schedule for the
Right.
entire term. So then I can add that in for sure. Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. Not a
That
problem.
would be helpful. And I see we're moving to more the beginning of the month than the middle of the month.
Yeah, you know what? I kind of just pick the dates as we go. I try to stay away sometimes from the heavier vacation times, July and August. So yeah, just kind of that's where it fell. But again, if there's an issue to bump it.
No,
if
there
it's-
wasn't an issue. I just thought, oh, we're
Yeah.
going from out of the middle of
Yeah.
the month to earlier
Yeah.
in the month, except
It's
if there's
just-
a holiday.
Yeah, it's just kind of how it all played out this year. They kind of all went, yeah, they're like either the first or the second Monday kind of thing. So yeah. Other than that, yeah, there was nothing else. Jeremy, I don't know if you want to do it. Yeah.
Yes. Yeah.
That's-
If you indulge me for a moment, committee
Yeah.
members, Mr. Chair, I'm going to introduce Sherwin to you. So he's been sitting here tonight and he will be taking over Committee of Adjustment. He is our new planner, so he's taking over from David. We'll be with him. One of the other staff will be with him for a little while as he starts to learn the ropes of things because Sherwin is starting right into the planning profession. So he is going to learn everything. So we don't want to leave him alone yet. So he's got to get eased into things and how to respond and how to deal with things. So we'll probably for the next few months have someone else on staff also attending with him, just to make sure everything goes okay and we're able to answer your questions appropriately. But we have faith in him. It just, he didn't get many questions tonight that we could dive into, but this was a good chance for him just to see how the committee works too, because I don't think he had a chance to watch or see a Committee of Adjustment in action yet. So we welcome Sherwin, and he's been with us probably just about a month now, so just over a month now. So it's starting his planning process, and we hope everything goes well and he stays in Woolwich for a long period of time. So yeah.
Welcome.
Welcome.
Welcome, Sherwin. About 40 years ago, I was in exactly your same position.
Well, thank you. Thank you for the great
And,
insight.
and look, Chris just retired from the region. So look what you have to strive for.
Yeah, no
And she
pressure
liked it so
there.
much, she came back to the meetings.
I love Committee of Adjustment.
Yeah, I was going to say
Fun.
the same thing when I started my planning. That was where I was thrown into the fire, so to speak, was consent applications and Committee of Adjustment.
Yep.
So it's a great it is a great training.
Yeah, it is
area
a very
'cause you
good training
learn-
ground.
You learn everything. So welcome.
And so is being
Thank
at
you.
the Township of Woolwich a great training ground.
Oh, yeah.
All right, so we are just finishing up. Sherwin's just finishing up actually the next set. We got 2 applications for November, 1 new one and 1 consent coming back for 6 Covered Bridge Drive.
Oh, nice.
Oh, is that the one we deferred a
Yeah.
second time? Oh.
Yeah, yeah. So it's coming back.
Maybe I'll be sick next month. What day was that I had?
You're chairing. You don't have to make any decisions.
Right?
Sometimes chairing is more difficult there. I feel like
It
we had to-
is.
promise
I
a
would
lot to get it.
definitely agree with that, Jeremy.
I think we tried to all stay quiet last time for a really long time. Or
Yeah.
Charles finally got someone to
So
talk.
Nancy, have they resolved any of their issues?
You will get a 71-page attachment to the email, which is their reports and whatnot. Sherwin and Stephen Dykstra, our other senior planner, went through it. So and Jeremy, I think, looked at it a little bit too. So I didn't go into the details to determine, but they've
All right.
attached a lot
right.
of information.
Well, please
Yeah,
send that out
did
early.
GRCA approve?
I'm not sure what the GRCA's comments were in
Well,
that.
okay.
And
We'll see.
They'll send new comments once we recirculate as well with that additional information. So yeah, we'll see. Yeah, we'll have it out. If not maybe Friday, but very early next week, then it'll go out
Good.
to you. Yeah.
Thank
Yeah,
you.
you have time to look at it. Okay,
Great.
good. That's all we have.
Wanted to
for tonight.
comment on Aaron's nice purple eyes.
Yeah, getting a glow off the computer there.
I got new glasses because I have the blue light reflector, but these ones, I don't know. They
we can
move.
see
It's
it.
bad.
Yeah, we can see it then. Yeah.
I can never win.
No, crazy. All right.
Oh,
That's
Thanks,
it,
everyone.
everybody. Good night.
good night, everyone.
Have a good week, everybody.
Bye.
Bye, everyone.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
So what I did was